Well, that was a long 6 months. It's very weird to come back into a place after 6 months of silence, then start to think, right, the noise is about to start again. I'm talking to the people who have never done this before, who are just looking at their laptop, looking at, people releasing music on Spotify and that, and going, how do you do that? Some of you will be recording, and you're all at different levels of recording your own music. Some of you go straight into studios and say, hey, I'm an artist, this is my song, record me. Other people haven't got the money. So some of you have got laptop machines. Some of you have got desktop machines. If you ain't got a laptop, it's like, But basically all you need is a computer, a good processor, decent RAM. What else do you need? Yes, you need a way of getting your music into the machine. That is where your audio interface comes in. I'm talking to the people who have never done this before, looking at their laptop and going, how do you do that? Okay, let's start with the basics then. You need a computer and you need some kind of interface in order to connect to your computer. So here we go. Here's a laptop. It's a Dell laptop, 16 gigabytes of RAM, an i7 processor in it. So yeah, it's a fast machine. This is the kind of machine that you really want. So 16 gigabytes of RAM, i5, i7 processor, AMD equivalent. But you can do it on a less spec'd out laptop. You could do this, using 8 gigabytes of RAM and an i3 processor or its equivalent. That's the hardware, the laptop machine. This is the digital audio workstation. Cakewalk by BandLab is a digital audio workstation that is completely free and very powerful. You can create something radio friendly, ready for release, CD quality. So we've got the laptop, we've got the digital audio workstation. In this case, it's Cakewalk by BandLab. Traction is out there as well, and another one called Traction. Check that out, especially for beat makers and loop makers. Traction's probably better than Cakewalk. I suggest if you're just starting out, use Cakewalk because it's free and it gives you all of the features of the others. So don't pay money when you don't have to pay money. So there's the door and the laptop. Now, I've got all these musical instruments to connect into this machine so that I can start recording tracks. I need a digital audio interface. Now, there's many on the market. They all do exactly the same thing. They connect your computer to musical instruments. Their signal is converted in that audio interface into ones and zeros, digital information, which then goes back into the machine, right? And then the machine then decodes them or puts them up on the screen as sound. So it's an external sound card, an audio interface. This is the piece of equipment I use. There's a BR800, right? We want to get these instruments, these amps, right, into this machine and then get that sound coming directly from this machine down this cable into this machine, which then goes into the door. So I'm just going to repeat that again. I'm getting these instruments into this machine, from this machine into this machine, and then this machine is going to put them onto the door. Now I can multi-track record. All you need is a little bit of skill, a bit of talent, some ideas, a microphone, a digital audio interface. There are many like it, but this one is mine. When you're buying your digital audio interface, how many things do you want to record at the same time? If you've got 2 inputs, you can record 2 things at the same time. 10 inputs, you can record 10, etc. The more inputs you have on your audio interface, the more expensive it's going to be. Let's talk about inputs, right? It looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I haven't, right? These are virtual tracks, and we'll talk about virtual tracks way down the line. Let's just talk about the interface and the track. There you go. So that's the tracks. Now, you can see I've got 4 tracks. These relate to these inputs. Input 1, input 2, input 3, input 4. That means that I can record 4 things at the same time, and they all sit on their own tracks. I use the following inputs. Input 1. Drums, all the microphones, everything go into a separate mixer here, and then they come into here, and that's it. I have the whole drum kit into one track. drums, bass, a guitar, and a vocal. We can record 4 things: drums, bass, guitar, vocals. They correspond to tracks here in the door. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 inputs. That means I can record 4 things at the same time. That doesn't mean I can only record 4 things, right? It just means I can only record 4 things at the same time. So your interface, once you've chosen it and got it, will have so many inputs. It'll either have 2, 2's probably the minimum, up to 10, 15, 20, whatever, whatever you can afford, whatever you think you need. If you're recording bands, generally you want a guide track from each one of the members of the band. If you're a solo artist and you're building everything bit by bit, piece by piece, layering stuff on, then 2 inputs is going to be fine for you. You don't need to spend loads of money on any more than that, but you tailor yourself to what you need. So say you've got an interface with 4 inputs, right? Because then you can get drums, bass, guitar, and a vocal, right? Guide straight off the bat. With that kind of setup, recording directly, you're going to get what I'd call a live take. Live in the studio or a live demo or whatever. You'd get a decent result for a demo, but you wouldn't be able to release that. Not really. To get it radio friendly, you're going to have to put it into the digital audio workstation, the DAW, and then you're going to have to mix it. And then once you've mixed it, you're going to have to master it. The tracks that I'm going to use on the final recording depends very much on the quality of them. The live take, which is all the inputs live into the DAW, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's rock, play the song, play it 3 or 4 times, get a take that everybody's happy with, and that's the start of it. The only instrument I'm interested in is the drums, because once we get the drums right, then the rest can be built on top of that. I can then remove the guitars, I can remove the vocals, so we've just got drum and bass going, and then we bring it back into the studio, and then we can start to overdub. Not recording everybody live, we're recording one musician at a time. These are done as overdubs. This is where earlier you saw that although I've only got 4 inputs, those songs have multiple tracks, 12, 13, 14, 20 tracks. You double track guitars, you overdub vocals, you do various things, which again I'll show you. So we're going to use more than 4 tracks, but the way we do that will become apparent as we go on. We can now start to add piece by piece by piece, and it's that part of the recording process that then becomes more technical until we can get it sounding exactly how we want it. Then it comes to mixing, balance all the tracks out, mix them, put them in the stereo fields where you want them, panning them out. And then finally is mastering. Now mastering is a skill on its own. A lot of people just put mixes out, they'll mix a song and then they'll say, yeah, it sounds great, and they'll put it out. If you're trying to be really professional, then really you need to master your music. If you want to know about mastering, really, go and watch some other videos about mastering, because that is an art in itself. Right, so that's really it. If you just jumped on this and you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I'll tell you what, though, I want to know. If you like it, subscribe, hit the bell, all that business, and then, next video comes up, you can watch it. If you've got any comments to make, then feel free to make them, It's what the comment section's for. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to sign off for the day. Happy day to you all, and see you soon.